Well, I am ready. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Here we are back in this enchanted room. Nothing like I imagined the enchanted forest when I was starting my enchanted self work, or something more, I guess, more feminine, fairy tale type of stuff. This is hardcore cartoon comic, all sorts of the mysterious sides of kid stuff, really. And it's wonderful. Isn't it wonderful to be in this
Yes,
room?
definitely.
So welcome to The Enchanted Self. The Enchanted Self tonight is going to present school anxiety, friend drama, teacher disappointments, teachers with some problems, and anything else that we get to as we go through watching selfies that kids have made. And I'm going to just give you a 1-minute summary of what the Enchanted Self is. I'm a psychologist. I've been in practice before you were born, except for Cindy. Well, maybe you, Ming, you were a little boy. And many, many years. And I developed a positive psychology school of thought called the Enchanted Self. And in simple terms, it's a way of helping people rediscover their talents, their strengths, and their hidden potential. And I say rediscover because so many times in life we get blocked, either disappointed, put down, whatever, discouraged, poor parenting, poor teachers that don't really love us, whatever happens. And we need very much to learn how to get back on our own horse again and again in life and become excited with our own potential and really get it out there, as you say in your film when we get to it. So that led to the Selfie project. The Selfie project has two different aspects. One aspect, I'm just going to say that Ava, who's with us tonight, was one of the founding kids who helped me with it. That aspect is drama. That is helping kids understand themselves better and helping their parents understand kids better through drama. And I've written several books for girls, although boys have liked the books when they read them.
Yeah, I read those.
Yeah. And this
Still
one
have
is the Truth Diary of a Gutsy Tween, and the other is Secret Diary of a Gutsy Teen. And both of them, in diary form, bring up probably 30 to 40 different things that kids go through. Universal things, moving, having a sibling that is irritating, having parents that fight, having a teacher that doesn't listen to you, and on, so that although they are drama novels, you can use them to teach and to learn from. So these books led to making films that are based somewhat on the books, and some of these films are improvised so that the kids get to act out drama, like Ava did, and some of them are somewhat more scripted, like The Truth, a coming-of-age selfie film, where the young lady, Cassidy, was here a few months ago who starred in it. And what makes it a selfie film, and part of my project, is that Cassidy and then Megan, you said you recognize Megan Brown, do their own filming of many of their scenes with a smartphone. And then we augment that with a B-roll, a couple of camera people. And this is an entirely new concept. I think I might be the first person, or you know how it is, two people invent the phone at the same time. There may be 3 or 4 other people in the country that also have done it, but it's right at the very, very edge of the curve. And now in the film festivals, they're asking for smartphone films. Yep. You know, all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, wow, exactly. Let's, you know. So the Selfie project, the other part of it is helping kids express themselves through selfies. Not for drama, not because they're in a film with me, but because if you speak alone and you make a selfie, you'll probably be much less nervous than if you are have a camera crew and a director and everybody watching you.
Definitely.
You know, and it's really worked with the kids to ask them to make selfies. And now I'm collecting selfies. It's one reason you had to sign off. I'm trying to get selfies out there and encourage other kids to make selfies about whatever. It can be school shootings. It can be, well, that's the most painful, deep level, but it can be how to handle a sibling 3 years older that's going off to college and you're left behind and he doesn't want you to come visit because you're a jerk, you know. It can be, so it's the whole spectrum. And all right, so that we're going to talk about the second part of the selfie project tonight, which is what I'm saying, to help kids, give a voice to kids for their feelings, their emotions, and maybe we can help them solve some of their problems. Now I'm going to introduce who's here tonight. I have with me a distinguished colleague, Dr. Lucinda Monica, who I've known a while. We've been in Monmouth County as psychologists together for many, many years. And Lucinda was a school psychologist on many levels, but for 14 years with older kids in your age ranges.
My favorite.
Yep. And now I'll let each of you just briefly say your first name and maybe what grade you're in or whatever you'd like to, very briefly. I'll start with Jack to my left.
I'm Jack. I'm 16. I'm a junior now. What else did you want me to say?
You don't have to say anything else. That's whatever you're comfortable.
Well, that's about it.
Okay, that's fine for now.
I'm Mia, and I'm a senior, and I go to a school for acting.
As your public school.
Yes,
Right.
it's public school, yeah.
I'm Ava. I'm 14. I just started my freshman year of high school today.
Oh,
Yeah.
First time.
wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump right in. I just want to show the audience the 25 seconds about what the selfie project is. And then we're good.
If you want to hear the headphones or
If
you-
if you want to listen.
Ooh.
All right, ready?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Dr. Barbara Becker Holstein, positive psychologist, originator of the Enchanted Self, and a filmmaker. This is the Selfie Project, where we get to delve into the minds of today's teens and we give them a safe place to express their thoughts, feelings, and maybe even some solutions. And that's it. Okay. So that's a little bit of orientation. And now, what we want to talk about is anxiety, school anxiety of various types. And I think what might be good would be if we actually play both the number 2 and number 3 in succession, because they're both dealing with a lot of school anxiety in different ways. One is Mia's, and the other is Ava. No, it's not Ava. I'm sorry. It's Amy, who is home listening and watching.
All right, headphones on. I'll play Amy first.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, my name's Amy, and I am a sophomore in high school. I just kind of wanted to talk about some setbacks of being a teenager nowadays. Basically, I am a cheerleader, and I'm part of the National Junior Honor Society, and I do student council, which is all gets thrown into being kind of difficult for me with keeping up with grades and maintaining friends. And we had tryouts this past week, and I was nervous about not making them because I had a choice between going to an amusement park with my aunt and going to tryouts and learning a dance that I had already learned. So I chose to go with my aunt, knowing the repercussions and knowing what would have happened if I missed tryouts, and I ended up making the team. But it's still quite nerve-wracking knowing that I have to keep up grades to maintain my spot on the team. Thanks for hearing my story.
Okay, and Mia?
So, I'm going to be a senior in high school this year, and that means a lot of things. That means I have to worry about my SATs. I have to worry about where I'm going to college. I have to worry about if I'm going to get into college because of my SATs. I have to worry about a lot of things, and that puts a lot of stress onto me and all of my other seniors this year. And it's been rough this summer because I've been trying to enjoy my last summer at home, but all I can think about is whether or not my essay will get me into the colleges that I want. All I can think about is whether or not I'm going to apply on time. I have so many deadlines that I have to meet right now that I can't even remember most of them. I know that I have an audition December 8th, but that's it. I think being a senior in high school means a lot of things, but it also mostly means that you just have all of these different ideas in your head that are just flying around, and it honestly is a little overwhelming, but the stress is good. It means that I'm doing something right. It means that I am not just sitting around and waiting for everything to happen. I'm actually doing things, and I think that the stress is a little bit productive. I feel productive because of the stress, and I think that speaks volume to how this senior year is going to go.
I love that ending on the optimistic note, and I do think that stress, when it's not too overwhelming, really pumps us up. Cindy, feel free to jump in psychologically, and kids feel free to jump in with reactions and thoughts.
I wanted to say that I think that you have a lot more stress on you as high school students now than when we were in high school. Even my kids who are now in their 40s. They had a lot too, but it's unbelievable how much pressure is on everybody. I was talking to my grandson, and he was looking for colleges and going to interview at colleges in his junior year, like the year before he had to even, make that decision. And, thank you. And the tests and the studying, and when you're in an advanced program or special program, like you both are in special programs, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in a lot of AP classes.
Well,
and
AP
honors.
classes,
Yeah.
I only have one.
They're like
honors
what I had
class.
in college or graduate school. Now the kids are having them in, as juniors or seniors. So I think the expectations are so high, very high.
Definitely, yeah.
And then there's all this other crazy stuff with social media and the distraction of that. I don't know how you can concentrate.
I don't really have any, so.
Oh, you don't have
yeah.
any?
I do.
You do.
All right, so
I think most kids
you don't have any social media,
No.
you're saying. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's hear from each of you where you have social media, and your mother, I assume, has worked with you to maybe not have any.
Yeah.
Let's hear what it's like both ways. You speak first, Maya?
Well, I don't know. It's just the social media adds on like a separate layer of like the school stress, because then you're following everyone that you go to school with, and you see these pictures that they post on Instagram or the stories that they put on Snapchat, and then you see all of that and you're like, wow, they're having such a better life than me. Like they're having so much more fun than me. Look at me at
Right.
home studying. And then that's what I'm supposed to be doing, but social media adds on that extra layer of maybe I shouldn't be doing that. You know?
By the way, every time I see some delicious platter that somebody's cooked, and I just brought home some food from the health food store that I threw on the table, it's like, I feel bad.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's exactly what it
It's
feels
like I would rather have not seen what someone made for dinner that
Yeah.
so outsizes what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, not having social media has actually been like really good for me, because I'm usually someone who gets like distracted easily. Like if I'm working on homework, I sometimes like zone out or start doing something else like reading. I read a lot, and I think not having social media is like better for me because, as I said, I get distracted easily, and yeah, it's calm, and I'm more productive, I guess. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Jack, can you jump in?
I mean, like,
Just get close enough.
yeah, I gotcha. But like, I feel those sentiments with like the whole, it's distracting. But at the same time, when I'm using social media, at the same time that I'm doing work, which is something that I do very often,
Yes.
Good.
I feel as if it keeps me from getting extremely frustrated with the work in front of me, where I'm like, man, I wish I was doing literally anything else. And I mean, of course, the whole like, pang of guilt when you see someone doing something really cool and you're like, man, I am boring. But
Yeah.
it is probably more beneficial to not have social media because honestly, it's a lot of hassle. But the communication aspect of it is very useful. Because people don't really ask for your phone number anymore. They're kind of like, "What's your Snap?" And
Yeah.
when I didn't have a Snap for like the longest time, I was like, "Ooh, wait, I don't." Oh,
And then suddenly it's personal to like give out your phone number because you have Snapchat.
it's like what? I don't use that.
Yeah, today, I was sitting at lunch with my friend, and she was showing me all of her Instagram pictures, and she looked like she was having such a fun time. So I got like a little jealous. I guess it's like
Oh, yeah.
jealousy kind of adds on to that.
That's a big part of that.
Yeah.
Could I ask a question about that? Was it your parents' decision not to?
Yeah,
Let you
and
use the
also
social media?
mine because
Oh, yours
it's
as well.
yeah.
Is
I
their
don't
volume
feel that
high
I really
enough?
need it.
Okay.
What?
I don't feel that I really need it.
Ah.
Honestly, yeah.
So that's very mature of you.
Yeah.
You're a freshman in high school. That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
know.
I'm very impressed by that. Yeah.
Now, just to bring you back to the dark ages, when I was in high school and when I was going for my doctorate, of course, there was no social media. But there was something that I used, I think, to control my own maybe agitation and being a little a person that bounced around and lost concentration. And believe it or not, that was the TV. And I did a lot of my homework with the background of the television. Of course, there was nothing to be jealous or comparing because, not how am I going to compare myself with, some drama show on or something that has nothing to do with my life. But doing my dissertation, it was very interesting. It actually, I think it kept my brain very active and having all these sort of soap operas in the background.
Yeah.
Did you hear TV
No,
at all to do your work?
I couldn't do that. I need to really focus. I like to work in the library or in a quiet place. But everybody has different preferences.
right.
And my kids did what you did. They would actually lie on the living room floor and watch TV while they were doing their homework. And I wanted to make them stop that, but they said, well, look, we're getting good grades.
Yeah.
They were getting
Yeah.
straight A's, So what could I say?
Yeah.
Right?
Going back to the anxiety, the school anxiety, the pressures, can each of you respond a little bit to those aspects brought up in the two videos so far?
Do you want me to?
Sure.
Well, since I'm a senior, like I said in the video, it's just so much more. Because as a junior, you start thinking about the schools kind of get onto you and they say, when are you going to take your SAT? And when you say you're not ready yet, they immediately are like, what do you mean you're not ready? You have to be ready. But I think that my biggest thing about like kind of calming my anxiety was going at my own pace and not listening to what anyone else was saying. So if I heard that my one friend was already taking the SAT, I blocked it out because I knew I was going to take care of myself with all the anxiety that I was dealing with. And there's the whole thing with kind of doing better in school because I know that my mom, when I was younger, she told me that she like wanted me to get a scholarship. And on one side, it was great because it kind of motivated me to like do my best and do honors classes and AP classes. But then the other side is that I have that little thing in my brain that's always making me try harder and kind of overwork myself.
Right.
But I think overworking myself has worked for me at least, you know? But like that's been my overall high school experience for the past 3 years, is kind of expecting the most from myself and then trying to exceed those expectations that I've already set at a high bar.
When you saw the little selfie that the other gal had done, could you appreciate that anxiety that if she doesn't keep her marks up high enough, she'll be kicked off the sports team?
Definitely.
You know, and how
Right.
Yeah, that's a huge thing at my school.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially with like the plays, because we do a lot of dramas and musicals. They say that if your grades start slipping, then you get kicked out immediately, and it motivates you to keep working
Try
harder.
harder.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you
Yeah.
would lose your part in the show?
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
Because academics are, no matter how much they want you to be on the sports team or the fall drama, they want you to keep your grades up.
Yes.
Because like that's the most important part when it comes down to it.
Well, what about your social life? I mean, nobody has mentioned dating or any of that stuff. Do you do you
Once school
sacrifice
starts.
social life in order to do well in school? All of
Yeah,
you?
I do. Personally, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Jack, do you have a little crowd of guy
Do you want to
friends?
say anything?
I mean, like, so I go to a school in New York. I commute every day.
You do?
Cool.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half drive, which is the worst.
Stressful too.
It's akin to having no social life because you can't hang out in the city because you got to go home and get your homework done. And you can't hang out at home because you're in the city all the time, which is just the worst feeling. Because, like, I have, like, 3 friends that I still have down here, and I have, like, 10 friends in New York, right? Like, that's just a number. That's just an estimate, right? I might have more. I might have less. Who knows? But it's hard to hang out with either of them because bus tickets are money. And, like, my friends down here are, like, either busy or it's just hard to get to them.
Yeah.
And my school's always been difficult. I'm taking like, and this junior year is crazy. Like, I believe in your sentiments with the whole SAT stuff because I was taking an SAT class this summer because I'm taking it in like November and I'm a junior. But I'm taking 2 APs this year and I didn't get into my 3rd AP because that's teacher issues, but that's a later topic. And it's just pressuring. Like, I'm working myself pretty hard.
Right.
I like to think so. And I want to work myself harder just so I can show people that I can do it. Just for the sheer satisfaction of it. But other than that, yeah, it's like kind of a little rant I went on.
Wow. For some kids, junior year is the hardest because there's so
Oh,
much
yeah.
pressure
Was,
to
it
get
was, it
the
was.
good grades for the year, to get the recommendations to go on to the AP classes and to the college early acceptance, right? All that.
Wow.
It was a junior year was absolutely. I'm so sorry.
I'm excited.
Wow.
I'm excited.
You're
Say that now.
You're glad you're
I'm
over
not
with it.
excited. I lied.
No, yeah, it's junior year's the hardest, 100%. At least for me personally.
It's a tough world. It's really, I look back and I had my own disappointments and, being crushed by a boy, dropping me, all the sort of typical adolescent stuff, but still had a sense of personal time. And I don't hear you talking about much personal time
Yeah,
at
you're
all.
so scheduled.
You know?
Very scheduled, right?
It's
I have personal time on Saturdays and maybe Sunday if I'm lucky.
For
That's it.
how many hours per week?
Well, for me at school, I go until like 2 o'clock and then I'm there until 6 for after school activities. So then I just go home and do my homework and that's it.
You're basically in school from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a long
But
day.
it's like it's kind of nice,
Yeah.
you know, because it keeps me busy and it
Yes.
keeps me focused.
That is the good
Yeah.
part of it.
And out of trouble.
Yes, out of trouble.
yeah.
Yes.
It's very hard to make trouble when you're constantly moving.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like,
Oh, go ahead.
but like, when do you wake up?
Huh?
What time of the day do you wake
I
up?
woke up at 4:45 a.m.
Oh my God.
I wake up at
Torture.
5 every day. Like that was,
Yeah.
like it went from like me waking up at like at the earliest like 6:30. Now it's
Yeah.
5. And that's
Yeah.
fun.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Totally.
That's tough.
And what time
But,
do you
like,
go to sleep?
I have to set
like
my alarm
11.
for like 6:30.
You're not getting enough sleep.
My bus comes at like
Gotta get my homework done.
7:05. It's not to say 2:05.
He doesn't go to sleep till 11.
Neither do I.
I mean, like
Wow.
probably later sometimes if like I have a big essay. Like I'll be
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
nah,
Yeah.
it's a
Like
1
last
it's a 1
night.
a.m. night today.
Oh yeah.
Also, due to
Ava?
like nervousness, I just like couldn't sleep
Yeah.
at
Oh,
all.
sure.
I was
Yes,
so nervous.
yes.
First day of high
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, I got like
Don't worry. First day of
3
high
or
school,
4
I
hours
didn't
of
sleep.
sleep. I was so scared.
Sure.
And that's often the toughest time for kids going into a new school,
Yeah.
new level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
New building.
I moved to like 2 towns when I was
Really?
3. Yeah, so I lived in Allenhurst, and then I lived in Middletown, and then now I live in Fairhaven.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Totally
moved
different
to, like,
schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last time I moved, I was like 8 or 9.
So
So
how-
I mean, it's been a while, but yeah.
How was today in school?
I have mixed feelings.
Of course.
It was interesting. It was an interesting experience so far, and I liked it, but I was very tired after school.
Oh, I
so
bet.
I
It
just
was-
got off the bus,
Yeah.
walked to my house, and threw myself on my bed.
Yes.
Got through
It's gonna be like that every day. Every day.
Next 4 years.
But I think some of that exhaustion of the first week or two subsides, you know,
Yeah.
when you're used to your routine a little bit.
Yeah. I drank a lot of coffee, so kind of like.
Oh my God. I never
Already?
even had coffee till I went to college.
Oh, I drink coffee. Drink coffee every morning.
Wow.
And I went to buy. I just got back from a trip from Boston, and in the hotel they had like little coffee packets. And I started like drinking them. I added hot chocolate next to it, so that was good.
Well, that was good. That was good.
So it kept me awake because we had to wake up like really early. But yeah.
Well, I think we should go on. We can come back and forth.
Yeah.
Now, the next selfie is by Ava, and as I said, it's touched my heart. It's really you were daring to be as open, and I think it will bring up some of the issues of living in a social world as human beings that we all struggle with.
I can't watch.
All right.
I'm probably going
Friend
to
drama
anyway.
has to be one of the most relatable topics to talk about, so I chose that for my selfie. And lately, I've been going through a lot of friend drama, mainly with these 2 girls who I've been friends with for like 7 or 8 years, and we were always close, and we were always best friends, and then now we're entering high school, and we're getting older, and things are changing, and it's really difficult to let them go, and I know that it's usually for the best when you let someone go, and if like they've been mean to you, and you have to realize that it's best if you just leave them and let them sort through their problems and have them come to you. It's my mom would say, just walk away and they'll come to you. And these girls would tease me and make fun of me and call me names and stuff. And probably the worst thing I did, even worse than like lashing out at them, was I would laugh because I felt like they were joking, but they really weren't. And it hurt a lot when I realized that they weren't really good friends. Because I've been friends with these girls since I moved to the town that I'm in now. And they were my first friends. And it's just really difficult to let go of people you've known for that long. It's almost like having them just pass away. It's like awful, and part of me doesn't want to let them go, but the other part of me knows that it's what's best. And no one should ever make you feel like you're less than what you're worth, because my family and my other really good friends, they always tell me I'm worth more than I think. And you should never let anyone tell you who you are or tell you what to think of yourself, because it's just wrong.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, wasn't that a
Yes.
beautiful
Yes.
expression of some of the deep feelings that we all walk around with in some category, and to have the courage to express them helps everyone feel more comfortable to express some of the inner buildup of frustration and hurt that we have at times.
I must say that these young people we have here are very wise.
Thank you.
For you to
Debatable.
come to that conclusion at your age, you said you're still 14?
Yeah.
To me, it's amazing. I recently had to come to that conclusion with a friend who I lost as a friend, and I was very, very upset about it. I think
Yes, I
spoke
know.
to you about it.
Yes.
And it was so hard for me to let go and just say, okay, well, it's for the best, and let her come to me. I finally came to that. And you're absolutely right. And your mom is smart too,
Yeah.
to advise you that. But it's hurtful. I know that.
Yeah.
It's very hurtful. The thing is, when you're young, you usually become friends with people that are close to you, like they're in your class, they live next door. You don't go out and choose them. They're just there. They're close to you. But as you grow older, you get to choose people based on things you have in common and how you like each other. And that usually works a little better.
Yeah.
But people can be very cruel in their
Yeah.
behavior. I know, it's hard. But that's a
Yeah.
good lesson to learn. Wow. I'm
Hit home.
You know,
yeah.
I'm just thinking about my first quote-unquote boyfriend, and my parents, well, in those days, we were foolish about a lot of things. They let us go off to overnight camp together, our music camp. And we were well supervised. That wasn't the issue. But the issue was that the boys decided to have an auction and sell their girlfriends, not for any means that would be inappropriate. It was all to raise money, and we had to sit, the girl would sit at the table in the large, gigantic room where we had meals with the new fellow who had bought you, that kind of thing. It was, and I, as a liberal woman in the making, I was furious.
I feel as if that's a human rights violation.
Yes. And I was furious and so confused. And I couldn't talk to my parents. I was away at camp. And I remember we stood on the porch of this main building, and I said, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. Whatever I did, I became very strong, and I really gave it to him. And he broke up with me on the spot. And 2 days later, he's sitting with the granddaughter of the man that owned the camp, holding her hand. I mean, it was like public, victimization on top of victimization. And you know what? I couldn't really process this with almost anyone when I was a teen. I had even asked my parents, I wanted to see a psychologist, and eventually I did at the end of my senior year of high school for a summer. But when I really needed it, even though my father had a PhD in psychology, but he was an administrator, he hadn't built a practice, I didn't know how to articulate the pain of this being mishandled in a relationship.
Yeah, of course.
So to have the bravery that you do, and that to be able to just to talk about these subjects, I think reduces so much of the struggle.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know, in senior year, it's hard because you think, like, I think that's amazing, but, like, my school, I don't know how small your school is, but my school's so small that it's hard to, like, get away from people and cut people off. So when you really think I should stop hanging out with this person, it's hard to, because you see them every single time that you walk. And, like,
You're in a lot of classes together as well, right?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I'd say I have the same schedule as a lot of people. But yeah, it's just it's funny because, like, I wish I had that kind of confidence a few years ago.
Yeah.
Because I went to a different school freshman year, and there were a lot of bad people in that school that I just had wished that I had just kind of gone away from, you know.
See, with me, it's like the exact opposite. The entire reason I went to my school in New York was to explicitly get away from the people I hated in middle school.
There it is.
And that was probably the worst decision I ever made. I could have gone to a school for, like, film stuff, which would have been really cool for me. But instead, I chose to go to one of the biggest schools ever, where the freshman class was over 200 people.
Oh, wow.
And on my first day, I was swimming in a sea of people that I had no idea who they were. And that was terrifying. But I mean, it worked out all right. There are some, like, cool people. But ultimately, it was, like, pretty crazy, especially at the beginning, because high school is tough and weird and silly. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So my school is gigantic, and our high school is made up of 4 different schools.
All right.
So there's my school in Fairhaven, which there's only, like, 1 middle school and 1 elementary school, and then there are 3 other schools from Remsen, and we all come clash together, and, like, everyone knows each other except for me, because I'm not good with social interactions with other people. But everyone knows each other, and everyone's, like, been friends for a while, and I think that's because, like, most of the kids there have, like, grown up with each other, because, like, the towns are, like, right next to each other. And I moved to Fairhaven when I was in 2nd grade, so I didn't know really anyone coming here except for this one girl who I was, like, friends with for, like, my whole life. And so it's kind of scary going to a school where you don't know anyone, and
Of course it is. I think, though, I'm sorry, please.
I was just going to say, like, because, again, it's, like, I knew actually no one. Like, it's even cool to have that, like, little safety blanket of, like, that one person or 2 people that you know, and I would have given, like, a leg for that, because that first day when I walked into that school and I was, like, trying desperately to make friends, and everybody was all like, it wasn't until I did the plays that people were like, hey, this kid's kind of cool, because, like, the plays, like, as soon as I did the plays, people kind of were like, oh, he's the theater kid. That's the guy I saw in the show. And I'm like, I can live with this. I can do it.
your passion kind of saved you, it sounds
Yeah.
like, which is, I think, a very important point. Now that, I've known people of all ages and in my practice seen hundreds of people, the people that are not tied into, you can be rich and you can have material things, but it's the passions that really will keep you sane.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and our other young lady who's not with us in person, Sydney, kind of sums up some of the things about friendship. So I think it would be nice to bring her in at this point.
Friendship. In life, you will find out people who you thought were your real friends really weren't. And that's okay, because you'll find new people who will most likely be the bestest friend you'll ever have in your entire life. And if you only have one true friend, that's completely fine, because that person will always be there for you. And if they're not, you'll find another friend also. So just keep working through all the bumps in your friendships. It's gonna be okay. Over time, friendships will definitely fizzle out. It's normal, but new ones are made. And after high school, a lot of people that were your friends, you'll never see again. You might never see them again. So remember to have the best times with them and hang out all the time with them before it's too late. So I know this from personal experience. Obviously, I'm not out of high school yet, but I found out who my true friends were very early. And I learned that if you are the only person fighting for the friendship, that friendship is not going to work out. Just like a relationship. If both people in the relationship aren't fighting for the relationship, it's not going to work out. It's going to go through lots of fights and just...
Was that it?
Yeah, because she kind of, it ended a little abruptly. Maybe I lost a couple of words, but I think we got the gist of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Similar to your experience, right, with the friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here's a girl you've never met, you may never see each other, and yet there's a kind of wisdom coming through through both of you. So interesting.
She sounds like she's very confident about her.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
She is, and she deserves to have friends, and
Yeah,
she'll find new
definitely.
friends. Good attitude.
Very good attitude. Yeah.
I'm just looking at you. Sorry.
Did I do
So
something wrong? No, I didn't.
why don't we jump right into the last prepared selfie, which is what Jack did, and it brings up some of the frustrations of actually being in school from other points of view, like who your teacher is and stuff like that. So I think we can just go ahead and then we'll bring it all sort of full circle together.
Hi, I'm Jack Craig, and I'm not really someone who gets involved in a lot of drama, nor do I enjoy commentating on it, but there was one time in class, actually, where some drama started between a student and a teacher, believe it or not. Essentially, we had to read this one book, and our teacher kind of wanted to incite some semblance of conversation amongst us students, and one kid decided to debate the teacher's views on it, and she wasn't good at debating, and because she wasn't, the student managed to refute 90% of her claims and stuff. So she got mad, and I guess she kind of thought that she was made a fool of, in a sense. So she started picking on the student, not only in class, but she started to pick out small errors in a lot of his essays and take huge chunks of points off. And it was crazy to see because the student ended up going to the dean of academics and telling him what was happening, along with a couple other students who noticed this. And he managed to get that teacher in trouble. And it was very funny, in a sense, to see the teacher lose her cool in a lot of times. And it was even funnier to see her kind of get comeuppance for screwing with this kid. But ultimately, that's probably the biggest drama that I've been a part of. I tend to stick away from all that stuff. But yeah, that's about it. Man, I miss my long hair. My school doesn't let me grow out my hair for the summer. So that's just like, it doesn't let me grow out my hair for the school year. So it's just like, man.
Reminiscent.
Whatever. Teachers are dumb. That's it.
I thought it was a funny story, honestly. I was like,
I mean, like, I guess I wasn't like on topic with the rest of you guys with like friend drama and stuff, but like, I just don't like teachers. Like,
Teachers can make your life miserable.
Yes.
oh yeah. I got a whopping 62 on my chem final, which is 1/5 of my grade, by the way. And I didn't get into AP Bio this year because one teacher didn't do his job. He just didn't teach us chemistry, which was just whole bunch of fun. And then like another teacher also, like, it seemed like he was teaching, which is like the worst when a teacher like looks like he's teaching and it's like
There's nobody's talking about.
and then you get to the final and you're like, all right, I'm ready, and then oh no, I'm not. I was wrong. What does this word mean? Like it was Spanish, and he didn't teach us anything that was on the final. I managed to like pull out with an 80 just because context clues or whatever, but it was a trip.
Yeah.
There's my 3rd grade teacher, she for some reason she really didn't like me. And so she told everyone she was having a baby. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to do something nice. I'm going to make her a picture. And so I made a picture for her, and I wrote like, "Oh, congratulations on the baby." And then she takes it, like, "Oh, this is so nice." And then I go back over to my desk and I see her throwing the picture out.
Oh my God.
Backstabbing.
So,
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
And like not.
So I just did not like her, and she did not like me.
sad.
Tended to
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That isn't even fair because you're there to learn.
Yeah.
And once they bring in like their personal feelings about you, it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Because like I have one teacher at my school, I love him to death. He's like one of my favorite teachers, but a lot of people don't like him because he chooses favorites and makes it known that they're his favorites. I was one of them, so like I was okay. But a lot of other people, I get complaints that they're like, well, this teacher just was so mean to me, didn't teach me. And I was like, well, if you just shut your mouth. Like a lot of times when teachers are mean to you, it's for a reason, but then sometimes they're just mean just cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't
Yes.
understand. Because like
Yeah.
I've had that so many times, and I just I've gotten yelled at for no apparent reason. This is my old school, so I can talk about it. But like at my old school, one of the teachers just didn't. It was Algebra 1. One of the teachers just didn't teach me.
well,
Yeah.
again, from a psychological point of view, and Cindy, I don't know if you'll agree with me, but I found, having worked with a lot of teachers and also worked with a lot of couples, that a teacher can get pretty good training, and he or she goes into the classroom, they're really trying, and then they get triggered at certain emotional levels and they just deteriorate on the spot.
Right.
Just like in a couple argument, you know, the couple will sound pretty sane for 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden, you know, they're going to divorce, they're going to kill each other, they're going to throw you down the stairs. I mean, all these horrible things start coming out because they just went down the developmental ladder. You
Just
know,
one little thing that they
Yeah.
didn't say that just
Right.
makes it
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, and teachers have personal problems too. Things
Yeah.
are happening with them sometimes, and they come
That's
in with a
right.
lot of
This
pressures
year,
on them.
We had one teacher, and he had to leave because of like family issues, and he was like, I didn't have him. I really wanted him because I went to this one high school event in 8th grade because my friends were in it. It was like a little language performance, and he was so funny and upbeat, and I was like, oh my god, I want this teacher. And I was really disappointed when I didn't get him, even though he was in like the regular Spanish class, and I got into the honors Spanish class. So I was like, can I fail this test just because I want him? Yeah. But I'm gonna miss him because he was like really upbeat and funny, and he danced a lot. And my friend said that he would like slam his foot on the desk whenever you weren't paying attention, and he was just really funny.
Sometimes it might help if a student has a problem with a teacher, they feel they're being picked on or whatever by the teacher, if they would speak to the teacher privately after class and say, Ms. Jones or whoever, could we talk about something? I'd like to discuss this with you. I think teachers are very self-conscious when they're in front of the class and they feel like a student is trying to undermine me or attack me, and they get very defensive. But if you're open with them and talk nicely with them and say, you know, I'd like to work out this problem, it might help.
It might or it might not.
It might not.
You know, it's good for you. It's good training if you can handle it to speak like that. But I think that a lot of times the truth is that it takes a person of a certain level of maturity to not slip backwards when they get overstimulated. And even by sharing that doesn't mean that they can control that the next time. But maybe understanding, you have to kind of be in an imaginary relationship with teachers, actually. Almost like you're their kid or something. You kind of learn to read them. You know?
I've called my teacher's mom back.
You do?
Yeah.
They probably love that.
I did that once. I remember that. There was one teacher I had, actually, who was great. He was funny, and I actually like it more when a teacher kind of teases their students, like in a fun way, because that's just hilarious. And I was one of those kids, and I didn't even do anything bad to him. He just made fun of my hair, and that's because I swam, and when you swim, there's a lot of chlorine. So my hair turned from like this like brownish color to like straight blonde on top, brown on the bottom. So it looked like I dyed my hair. And then he took every opportunity to remind me that I looked like I dyed my hair. And like, then the entire class got in on it. And I'm like, all right,
I guess.
Now I can just make fun of you guys. I mean, like, it was fun, and he was a great teacher. But he left because he had to work on a book or something. I don't know.
Cool.
No, not cool. He was great. I wanted to talk to him more.
So I want to actually bring everything together because this is an hour show, and how many people are going to really stay with us even more than an hour? I hope they'll stay through the hour. I wonder if each of you could kind of share how you felt being here and what you got, if you got anything out of it, or, you know, some reaction.
Can I go first?
Yeah, I'm just looking. Yeah,
Of course, yeah. Well, this was amazing because it's my first like real taste of being in a professional setting with podcasts. I've never done a podcast before, and right, yeah, I'd love to do more. And I'm trying to build up my resume. This is one more little thing on my resume that gives me like a broader version of what I love to do. But no, it was a really great experience. I loved it. Thank you.
Me next.
Yeah.
All right. So when I first walked in here, I was like, wow, this place is cool. And then when I sat down, I was like, oh, microphones. Now I'm getting nervous. And then we started talking, and I was like, this is good.
Calming.
You think it was helpful to express stuff?
Definitely, yes.
Nice little outlet.
Yes, yes.
I really needed to rant because
oh, good.
the video really helped me.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go to Jack and then come to you as a professional.
I mean, like, I just really like podcasts. Like, I've never worked on
never
one,
been on one.
and like I listen to them sometimes, and I'm like,
I don't.
I wanna be on a podcast, man. and
Have.
now I have.
Yay.
So now I wanna make a podcast one day.
Okay.
But like, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
And otherwise, like, the ranting was fun.
Yes.
Ranting is fine.
Ranting is so much fun.
I don't really have that much else to say. I'm not
Okay.
verbose.
That's all right.
I love podcasts. You reminded me. I listen to them a lot in the car.
Yeah.
Just not have actually been on one. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's an experience.
What would you like
Well,
to
thank
share
you for
or
inviting
say?
me. I've loved this whole process, and it restores my faith in this generation. They're terrific kids. Yeah.
We're a small minority.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Gotta look for it.
yes.
Well, you can be leaders.
Yes, you can be leaders. And let me say that I am looking for more kids. If any of you have friends, cousins, anybody who would like to be doing selfies, I am really looking for kids constantly. I'm doing the show once a month. You're welcome to come back on another topic. And, you know,
Yeah,
and I'm
that
also
has been so
looking
much fun.
for, as I said, for kids who want to help me expand the world of selfies as a therapeutic tool for kids, tweens, and teens. So and that's everybody that's listening or watching. You can contact me at Barbara.Holstein. That's Holstein like the cow. That's an easy way to remember. Barbara.Holstein@gmail.com. And if you're an adult, well, then you're not out of my loop because I have a website, selfiefilmmakers.com, and there's a section on there for men, for women, for kids. You pick your section, and you can put up a selfie. It doesn't have to be a learning selfie. It can be a fun selfie. As long as you're truly using the selfie concept to bring delight or learning or something useful or fun into the world. Because that's what selfies has done. It's made all of us able to instantly go across, the world in a way that was impossible to imagine.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of you saw the little selfie that went viral about the two men. I think they were in the Philippines. I'm not sure, but somewhere very exotic. And they had an oxen, and they work as farmers. And they were doing dances because it's so boring to just push an oxen for 6 or 8 hours a day. They did all these dances as they were working in the field, and it went around the world because it was bringing joy to other people and themselves. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. It was great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll say good
so much
night
fun.
for now.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.